All right, friends, now we're going to try making our secondary colors by mixing our primary colors. So I'm going to start with orange, kind of the lightest of them. And I'm going to start by mixing a little bit of yellow out into my lid. I noticed I cleaned off my lid really good last time. So I'm going to put some yellow out here. You always want to kind of start with the lightest color. In fact, what I might do right now, since I'm doing all these colors, is I might put some yellow here for when I make green while my brush is clean, right? I'm gonna make two little piles of yellow. Lots of yellow out here. Okay, but first I wanna make orange. So I'm gonna start by getting a little bit of red. You always want to start small. You can always add more, but it's hard to take it away if you add too much. Ooh, I think just a little touch went a long way, and I already have orange. So I'm going to paint my pure hue right here in the middle of my mixed orange. This is what it looks like if we mix the watercolor primaries together. And what's cool is we get to see how it differs from, look how much different it is from the orange that's in the palette. Maybe you like this color better. Then I'm going to add a little bit of water to it so I can make the tint of this mixed orange. Make sure I spread it around so it's nice and transparent. Like so. Got it a little dark, but could have added a little more water to it. Pick some up. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of black, just a touch, since this is a light color, and see what the shade of this mixed orange looks like and how different it is from the other, from just the traditional orange. They're pretty close, but I think this one looks a little more brown. So maybe in your still life you have something that is very brown and you want. So you can look back at this reference guide and remember how you made this color. All right, so I'm going to clean my brush really good, dry it off on the paper towel, make sure it's clean. And now I'm just going to get a touch of blue. Remember, a little can go a long way to make the color you want. And I'm adding it into that pile of yellow that I already made. I might add just a little bit more, make a bright green. Oh, look how pretty that is. Let's see, are they different than each other? These look pretty close. I think I could add a little bit more pigment or paint. It's kind of thin, more like the tint, right? A little more pigment to this. Let's see how different these look. All right, now I'm going to add water. You can see that the green straight from the palette definitely has a richer color. So here's the tint of this. This one's definitely different. It has a little more blue in it, it seems. And now what happens when I add a little bit of black to it? Trying my best to be neat and not use too much water, but enough to spread it around. How different all these colors are. Okay, finally, I'm gonna make purple. Now, purple is different than green and orange in that it's equal parts, whereas you want just a touch of red and a touch of blue in orange and green, but purple takes equal parts red and blue to mix, and it's actually, I think, one of the hardest colors to mix because they're both darker in value. Right, I think I got enough red paint on there. Now I'm going to come over here and add some blue. Now purples there's such a wide range. This looks kind of like a blue purple to me. Let's see how it looks. Whereas the purple in the straight from the palette is more of a red purple. Like that. Now if we add water to it, we can create that tint. The tint of our color on the outer edge of our color wheel. And that one looks a lot different too. It's a much more muted purple than this purple. And maybe you have a need for that in your still life, or maybe you like the brighter straight from the palette purple. That's why we're testing our colors first. You can go back and look at these guides as you're painting or as you're choosing your colors. So now I'm making the shade. Last thing I'm going to make is the shade of my mixed purple, and see how different they all look. That's kind of an interesting brown as well. These are all kind of variations of brown depending on what you're painting. You might need one of these. All right, we've got that part done. I'm going to rinse my brush off, dry it on my paper towel, and I'm going to use my dirty paper towel to try to clean up my lid as best I can. These brown paper towels don't work as good as the white ones you guys have in class. Clean that off. I'm going to let this sit out to dry a little bit while I clean up other things. We'll need to dump out our dirty water into a dump bucket, and then we should let these sit out to dry a little while, just like we did maybe on the floor next to you, just like we did with the primary colors before we put them away. Make sure they're dry before we close our sketchbook. Good job, guys.